What's up, guys? Welcome back to Combat Sports Academy and my instructional series that I've put together for dynamic striking. I'm super excited that you guys liked the first 3 volumes that we did, the partner drill and sparring, the bag work 101, and then pad work. And the feedback has been tremendous, and I've been getting a lot of requests on things that people wanted to see. And implementing striking for MMA specifically is something that I've gotten requests for, things that I think we have, much like our other videos, have a structured approach to that I think has helped us have some success in transitioning striking-based fighters into mixed martial arts and helping already established MMA fighters become better strikers in. So we're going to attack that today, break things down, and the most important pieces of how to be the most effective striker in MMA. And that is an important point to make, because the better striker does not always win in MMA. It's not fair, but it's the reality of the sport. You could be the most picture-perfect technician of Muay Thai or Western boxing or Dutch-style kickboxing and still get knocked the fuck out. That's the beauty of it. That's the heartbreak of it. MMA, of all the sports that I coach, is the most gut-wrenching, joyful, and heartbreaking sport I've ever been involved in, because there are so many ways to win, so many ways to lose, and those 4-ounce gloves change everything. So we're going to talk about it, we're going to break it down, we're going to go over what I feel are the most important elements of becoming the most effective striker in the sport of mixed martial arts. We are live. Coach Gary here, back at you with our Striking for MMA block. The pillar, the baseline for what we're going to do. The next block we're going to run through and give you different pieces of what I feel is most important for your delivery system to be an effective striker in MMA. So from the baseline understanding, the most important thing in all combat sports, I don't care what it is understanding range, distance, and how timing has an implication for both, right? And with that, our baseline element is going to be footwork, fakes, and feints as we're going with striking for MMA concepts. While we're doing this, I'm gonna have Amber Leibrock, Bellator, Invicta, and Gladiator Challenge world champion assisting me, and Hector Fajardo, the Latin heartthrob, the Eric Estrada of MMA, helping us today with footwork, fakes, and feints. So what I want to see is, let's have you guys start moving in your basic fighting stance and give me lots of footwork, fakes, and feints. And then I'm going to talk about the things that I'm looking for as you work it. You don't have to work with each other. You're just working throughout the room, right? You're moving your feet. You're moving your head, right? As we're working with our footwork, fakes, and feints, what I really want to see here, especially for MMA, is I want to see a lot of head movement. So we are slipping, we are bobbing, we are weaving, we are pulling. Next, I want to see level changing as well, including that in as we go. That is going to be a baseline element of our footwork, fakes, and feints. Now, leg lifts, shoulder turns, hand movement, all of it is part of what we're doing. We cannot effectively fake and feint if we don't establish weapons throughout. You're not going to fake a shot if you don't shoot, okay? You're not going to fake a jab effectively if you don't jab. You're not going to fake a kick effectively if you don't kick. So as we're thinking about our fakes, our feints, and our footwork, we've got to always include for MMA our level changes and then our reactions to level changes. And we're going to keep adding elements to this process as we break down the foundational base for MMA. Time, come on back in, guys. So, step 1, making sure that we are including our footwork, our fakes, and our feints effectively as the baseline of our striking system for MMA. All right, and we are back, adding these progressive layers to our striking for MMA system. We started out with footwork, fakes, and feints, a little bit of striking, a little bit of level changing, without aggressively faking a shot. So what I want to talk about now is I want to talk about, as we add to this, being very distinct with our faked shot, being very distinct in hiding our shot behind a quality fake and feint. So as we're working, they start moving, they're back to their footwork, they're back to their fakes, they're back to their feints. What I want to do is I want to hide motion behind motion. So what I'm going to ask them to do, look at me, is I'm going to ask them to hard stomp, hard step, like we're shooting, like we're throwing a hard jab, and hiding the motion behind it, right? Putting that fake and that feint with that hard level change, that hard stomp, right? That's going to hide the shot more effectively. So a more aggressive level change and a more aggressive fake and feint as we chamber that, right? That hides the jab, makes it harder to get taken down. That hides the shot, makes it harder to get countered when you do shot, okay, when you do shoot. Good, time. So our hard rock step, right? That hard rock step is gonna hide the motion and the things that we wanna do for MMA. Our drop step, also effective as we're working through adding layers to our striking for MMA. All we're gonna do now is we give that hard rock step, and then the same goes for the drop step. As we base back onto this foot, ready to fire the counter. Base back onto this foot, ready to shoot. So the footwork and the fakes and feints now have some direction for our striking. So what I want to see now is footwork, fakes, feints, level changes, and then hard rock steps and hard drop steps. As we're working through, we're working our leg lifts, right? Good, and then hard stop, either way, rock step, drop step, rock step, drop step, rock step, drop step, and time. And we're back as we go through the progressive layers of effective striking for MMA. Now, we're gonna add in our boxing. We're gonna add in some actual strikes. As we said a little bit earlier, in order for a fake or a feint to truly be effective, one must establish the weapon. Hit somebody with a jab, a fake and a feint will mean something. Hit somebody with a cross, a fake and a feint will mean something. So now, as we are constantly thinking about controlling range, moving our head, evasive head movement, level changing, fakes and feints of realistic shots and defensive actions. Now, include your boxing in it. Consider this our shadow boxing warm-up for the day as we go through. All of it together with our boxing strikes now. Put it all together with our boxing strikes. Long, hard, straight punches. Good. That's it. Absolutely. Right? Don't forget the rock step. Don't forget the drop step. Put our punches together. And time. Excellent. We are back. Adding to the progressive layers here, one of the most important concepts that we can deal with here is that as a striker, we get taken down because we get too heavy on the front leg, right? In MMA, if you're too heavy on the front leg, you're gonna get taken down often, and you're gonna get calf kicked and leg kicked often. So by doing this next piece and adding it to our arsenal, we're going to check ourselves and put ourselves in a position to deal with not getting taken down, not getting calf kicked, not having that lead leg be a detriment to us. And it's just basically the takeaway. I call it the takeaway. And it is effectively a wrestling down block, right? Show me a down block, right? Now all I'm gonna do is include it in my shadow boxing and in everything that I do. And as I'm working, I just take my leg away. And whether it's the front leg or the back leg, whatever it is, the takeaway is gonna be one of the most important things that you can do in your striking transition into MMA, because it's gonna keep your weight light on the front leg, and it's gonna help you prepare and react to people that are trying to take that leg, whether it's with the leg kick or the takedown. So everything we've done thus far, add the takeaways, go. Front leg and back leg. Leg lifts, head movement, more slipping, more pulling, more ducking. Constantly moving that head, constantly moving those feet. Good, excellent. Takeaways, good, and time. All right, we're just gonna keep on adding, guys. Hey, back at you here. Coach Kerry with CSA Gym going over striking for MMA and what I feel is the most effective baseline of how to begin your journey into striking within this beautiful sport of mixed martial arts. And with me, I've added Georgie Avas, the Assyrian assassin, multi-sport phenom, and of course, Jessica Rose Clark, UFC superstar, the Australian hooligan, the heartbreaker, and certainly my favorite Australian to help us along with these videos. So we've introduced the baseline, we introduced the takeaway. Now I want to talk about in your MMA, showing the uppercut. When we are talking about people wanting to change levels, talking about people wanting to take us down, showing the uppercut is going to help keep them honest, letting people know that if you do come in, you're going to get cracked with something and it's going to fucking hurt. So as we're working through our shadow boxing now and we work our takeaways, we're going to just show the uppercut. So as we're working, we show the uppercut. They change levels, we change levels, we show the uppercut, we take away, we give the uppercut when we take away, and we make them pay when they shoot. Just showing the uppercut is going to stop people from shooting as often. And landing it when they do is certainly going to change the game. So everything we've done, start showing and adding the uppercut into the takeaway. We're level changing, we're moving our head, we're rock stepping aggressively, we're stance switching if we want, right? As they go for the leg, we hit them with that takeaway and we hit them with the uppercut. Good. Time. And then the next piece, we're going to go over showing the knee as well. So let's go ahead and do that. Just the threat of showing the knee, just lifting the leg, just faking the knee, just faking the knee, just lifting the knee as we go through, keeps the wrestler honest. Go. Lead leg, rear leg, it doesn't matter. Don't forget your takeaways. Don't forget your head movement. Don't forget your footwork. Don't forget your rock steps, your aggressive shot steps, your drop steps. And time. And we are back. We just talked about showing knees and showing uppercuts as a way to deter people from trying to take us down and open up our striking game effectively. How we need to stop a takedown is super specific. Just throwing a knee at someone trying to take you down in reality is probably going to get you taken down, because a wrestler will take a knee to the stomach, a knee to the chest, and continue to drive through and double leg you into oblivion. Kneeing to stop a takedown needs to knee the fucking head. So when you throw this knee, the knee needs to go up, not out. So how you knee to stop the takedown is super important. So when you show the knee, you're just showing the knee. You're lifting the leg, you're showing the knee, but when you do the knee and someone shoots on you, what I want to see is I want to see the knee come up. You're going to pull your toes up, and the knee's going to go straight up. And because we've activated all of those retractors, as I bring this leg back down, it's going to punch my hip back. So with Georgie shooting on Jesse, super slow, so no one's getting kneed in the face super hard, she's going to knee up. So Georgie, what I want you to do is I want you to put your hands just right underneath your chin, right? So as he level changes and shoots, she's going to knee up into the target and retract her leg back versus kneeing into the body. So go knee into the body, and Georgie, just finish your into the takedown. It's not going to stop you, don't hurt her, but as she knees your body, go ahead. You can still finish that takedown. Now, she's going to knee up, so protect your chin. It's going to be very different. And look how quickly she was able to retract and separate by having her toes pointed and kneeing straight up, okay? In Thailand, I was taught a basic drill by a great coach and a great fighter, fighter of the century, Api Day, called Knee the Baby. And basically you would take a Thai pad and you would just knee it. And it's for the clinch so that you could knee the head instead of the body. So I teach a lot of my Thai fighters how to knee the head in the clinch versus just the body. This is the same concept. That's kind of where I got it from, is we need to make sure that we are kneeing up so that we actually hit the head and stop the takedown. And by doing this aggressively with our toes pointed, we are able to retract the leg and create the space we need if we didn't stop the takedown, we can effectively sprawl, get our underhooks, drive the head, whatever we need to do to actually stop the takedown. So just kneeing in MMA isn't enough. We actually have to knee properly. And we are back. We are continually adding our layers here to our striking for effective MMA concepts. And one piece that doesn't get talked enough about is just our concept of using our hands, specifically in MMA, because we have the use of our fingers versus inside of a boxing glove, to effectively hand fight and index defensively so that we can start to control the opponent's movement and we can start to hide our striking just behind basic motion, right? It also has the benefit of keeping us more often than not defensively sound, right? In MMA, we talk about quite often the 4-ounce glove making a huge difference. I don't care how good your chin is. I don't care how tough you are. The 4-ounce glove will, the shock and awe of it, will drop you far quicker than a boxing glove. Okay, that's just the reality of it, right? So at the end of the day, with that in mind, I've got to be way more defensively sound with this lead hand in an MMA fight than maybe I need to in a boxing fight. So this defensive indexing and hand fighting is super important. As I'm doing this, I am reminding myself to keep my hands up. As I'm doing this, I am keeping my opponent at bay, controlling their hand, indexing, putting something in their face, in their vision, and all the while I'm doing this, I can then do that. And I can start to attack with these hands as I work this defensive indexing, along with my level changes, along with my hand fighting, right? Whether you can hand fight orthodox to orthodox, it doesn't have to be southpaw to orthodox. But this motion here, much like this motion and this motion and this motion, it's going to hide what I want to do because it's going to be harder for you to pick up on my movement. If the only time that I move my hand is to punch you, you're going to read it much more successfully. The only time I move my foot is to shoot, you're going to read it much more successfully. So adding this additional layer of defensive index and hand fighting to our baseline MMA striking structure is only going to help us be more effective in landing and stopping strikes. So let's see it. Add in that defensive index and in some hand fighting along with everything else that you're doing, right? So for me in a fight, I'll call a lot of the times eye line, because I want that lead hand up at the eye line. You will get hit less if we keep this hand up at the eye line. If this hand is down here, you're gonna get thrown shots way more often versus someone having to find a hole around that defensive structure that you're creating, right? Excellent time. All right, we are back, coming to the end of the different baseline elements that we're adding to our effective striking MMA arsenal here. To stop people from effectively shooting, one of the good ways that you can do it is to actually put your punches into people's chests, right? So punching the chest, one can lead right to the throat, right to the jaw, but as people start to change levels, those punches then end up going to their head. So now we're changing levels less. We're getting met with punches. These can be nice straight punches, the jab or the cross. Certainly it could be uppercuts as well. We'll focus just on the jab and the cross right now. As we are working and changing levels, I want you to actually jab the chest, cross the chest as well as you're working through. So as we added all of our different elements that we did, now you two are kind of going to do this together as a drill, right? And then George will be the one putting the punches to the chest. And then Hector will be a good cue, exactly, right? And he's working a straight punch, he's working the jab, he's working the cross, he can work the uppercut as he wants, he works that hand fighting, right? And then Hector's just giving him a good cue. And he's working good. Adding that into the element, good. Hector's turn now. Georgie will give him the cue, put a hand in front of his face, he just works that punch to the chest, right? Good, the jab, the cross, it could be the uppercut, exactly. Either hand as we work through, good time. So putting that punch into the chest is going to help you stop people from taking as many shots on you as a striker, right? And what we're doing is, whether you're a striker or you're a grappler learning how to strike, this applies for everyone, right? We want to be able to keep the fight where we want it. When we want to take it down, we want to have the capability to get it there. When we want to stop it from going to the ground, we want to have the capability of doing that as well. We want striking to be something that doesn't hinder our ability to do that. Striking is one of the only skills in mixed martial arts where we remove weapons from the arsenal to try to be better. Jiu-jitsu players don't stop doing arm bars because they're afraid they're going to get hit in the head. Wrestlers don't stop shooting because, oh, I might get kneed in the face, right? They're going to continue to do what they do and then find ways to do it so they don't get kneed in the face, so they don't get hit with ground and pound. But they're not going to take away the things that they do that make them good at MMA. But as strikers, oh, I can't tell you how many times I've had fighters come in, oh, I don't want to kick, I'm going to get taken down. Well, what the fuck are you doing MMA for? You're a world champion Muay Thai fighter. You're not going to kick? Well, then you're no one. Why are you? How about let's figure out how to kick and not get taken down. Better yet, let's figure out how to kick and not get punched in the fucking mouth. How about we just learn how to take what we do really well, no matter what it is, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, or striking, and make it work in the fucking sport. That's what this video is about. Adapting our striking so that we have world-class, effective striking for MMA. So nothing should be off the table. We should be able to jump, spin, fly effectively as long as we learn how to do it within the sport and the risks that are associated with it. So with all of that being said, start punching motherfuckers in the chest and you'll get taken down less. We're back. So, last piece of the puzzle that we're going to add, we're going to cover a lot in this video, but this baseline effective striking elements, we're going to talk about the frame and the slide. So as far as stopping takedowns go, we talked about footwork and range management, not being there. Chuck Liddell had some of the best takedown defense you've ever seen in the UFC, and he never had to sprawl. He just used his footwork to always be offline. If somebody wants to take you down, you ask any wrestler what they want to take you down, is they want to be able to touch you and they want to have their hips swing. So by controlling range and distance, making it difficult for them to touch me, they're going to shoot less, right? And then making sure that I am not letting them come through and get that takedown by using my different footwork options off of my frames and my slides and my level changes, and meeting that, it's going to make the takedown less often to land effectively for them as they do that. So when we talk about the frame and slide, we're talking about someone shooting and us stopping them before they get in deep enough to get in our hips, right? So footwork, stopping the takedown, taking away the leg to stop the takedown, putting punches in their chest to stop the takedown, showing the knees to stop the takedown, and then using things like the sprawl. We haven't even talked about sprawling because that's going to be the last line of defense, right? There's so much more that we can do to stop takedowns. And as a striking coach, a lot of the times like, okay, well, we're going to sprawl and brawl. We're going to strike and then they shoot and we sprawl. The sprawl is like saying this one position in Muay Thai is world-class clinch. This is the plume. It's one position. It's certainly not world-class. And in Thailand, you're not going to get this. And if you do, then you're fighting a guy at a bar who's drunk, who's not a Thai. Because this just is not world-class Muay Thai. Sprawling is not the best way to stop a takedown. Stop the takedown before it develops. Give yourself space and room to stop the takedown, right? So before we even deal with the sprawl and getting them in on our hips that deep, the frame and the slide is a certainly effective way to stop the takedown. Israel Adesanya is one of the best at this because he understands his range and his range control. When you go to shoot on him, you'll see him frame and slide out a lot of the time. So what am I talking about? Super simple. We use Amber and Jesse here, right? They're gonna work a little bit of, we'll call it shadow fighting. And then Amber is going to shoot. And then Jesse is gonna frame when she does stop. Using her forearm to stop the shot. This can be the forearm, she could be even longer, and it could be the palm on the neck or the head. And as she does this, she's gonna slide out and create space. That is the frame and slide. So do it again, all is one thing, they're working. Amber decides she's gonna shoot, it's not too deep, and then she slides out. Good. Now as she slides out, she's gonna punch around. She's gonna thread the needle, uppercuts, crosses, overhands, right? And creating that space. Jesse, now you shoot. Amber, you frame, you slide. As we're working. Good. Now, the frame and slide isn't gonna work if your weight's too heavy on your front leg. We've already established that, right? So that's why we've progressively added these different elements in the order that we have so that you understand I'm not gonna be able to frame and slide if I'm super heavy on this leg. A couple more reps, go ahead. Work that frame and slide. Good. And time, right? A lot of different ways to do that. We can work uppercuts, we can work through, we can work overhands. The strike is less important. The concept of they're changing levels, I'm matching their level change, and I'm using my forearm and my hand to control them. When we talk about Wrestling 101, right? It's gonna be hands, head, hip, right? It's that same concept. I'm using my hands before I have to use my head and my hip. So I can continue to be in striking range since that's our goal.